We're back with Real Men Wear Gowns and a new year of inspiring men to be proactive with our health. Put on the gown, get that scan, get that screening. And what better way to kick things off than to focus on setting priorities for the new year? Dr. Joe Richardville specializes in primary care sports medicine. He's with Franciscan Health. Thanks so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Happy New Year. So everybody has goals they want to accomplish in the new year. But I think, once January 1st comes around, it can be so overwhelming. How do you get motivated to actually get started?
Yeah, I think you got to find exactly what that motivation is for you. I think everybody has different health goals or health needs. And so trying to stay motivated is really important. I think when you're trying to go after a specific appearance or compare yourself to other people, that's not really deep motivation that's going to keep you motivated in those types of endeavors that exercise. I think really focusing on self-betterment is really the best way to stay motivated, and then focusing on what your specific goals are. I think a lot of people look at exercise or other kind of health routines and think a one-size-fits-all for people, and that's just not the case. You and I probably have different goals and different motivators to keep us active.
Do you recommend specific goals? I mean, instead of, is it I want to lose weight or I want to lose 10 pounds?
Yeah, so I think setting specific goals is very important. I also think setting challenges for yourself, if you like to accomplish new things or learn a new task, I think those are great ways to stay motivated. I think there are social goals too, like if you want to spend more time with your kids or a friend or a family member, that's a great way to be active with them. Take your dog for a walk, all of these types of things that are pretty beneficial for you, but also can help you reach some of your social, emotional, and physical goals.
I know that once a couple weeks roll around, sometimes we can run into barriers, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you jump those hurdles? How do you address those and keep going?
Yeah, again, I think everybody's barriers are going to be pretty individualized. And so you have to kind of recognize what are the barriers that you face. Is it time? Is it motivation? Is it cost or convenience to exercise? Or is it you feeling fatigued or just overly tired? Trying to identify those specific barriers that you have and then kind of tackling those one at a time to kind of overcome those and stick with your routine.
What about being tired, just for example?
Yeah, so that's one of the tough ones. Fatigue really does set in, especially this time of year in Indiana. Yeah. It's dark out, you wake up, it's dark, you go to work, you come home, it's dark, and so it can be really tough. I think the thing to keep in mind is exercise and routines like that actually improve endurance, reduce fatigue. Exercise itself really helps improve sleep. Mm-hmm. And so although it can seem daunting at first, I promise you, if you stick with it, you really do build up more energy through just establishing these routines.
And speaking of routine, how important is a routine and establishing that, and then how do you even approach what it is?
Yeah, I think when starting a new health routine or starting an exercise routine, you have to keep in mind certain parameters and certain phases of exercise. We know starting something new is going to be tough. And so that first phase of starting a new routine or exercise routine is acclimation, where you're going to be getting used to it. And it's not going to feel the easiest during those first couple weeks. Think of that's where you see the highest burnout. So you got to kind of stick through that. And then you reach that next phase, which is improvement. You start to see noticeable, observable, and predictable improvements saying, hey, I'm stronger, I'm more comfortable doing this, I can run a little farther. Mm-hmm. And as you continue through that, then you get to that maintenance phase. So having that understanding that it's going to be tough at first, then you're really going to feel those improvements, and that's going to help motivate you.
I think just personally, patience is so difficult. I started a different exercise routine myself, and you want to go strong right out of the gate, and then you realize maybe this is a little bit too much, and then you risk getting injured too.
Exactly, yeah. So when starting a new routine, I think it's really important to keep in mind the parameters of exercise, and you can use this acronym FIT, F-I-T. Mm-hmm. And so you look at exercise as frequency, how often are you doing that? Intensity, how intense are you going? As well as time, the duration of the actual exercise you're doing. If you start off, if you haven't done anything, and then all of a sudden you're doing 45 minutes of exercise 3 days a week, you've significantly increased the frequency, intensity, and time. That's a huge increase in physical stress on your body, can really lead to injury or burnout pretty quickly. My recommendation is to take one of those parameters, usually frequency is the easiest one, and start focusing on that. Say, I want to exercise 3 times a week. So just get out there, exercise 3 times a week. Don't do it for a long time. Don't make it intense. Just make sure that you're doing it. 10 minutes is enough. And as long as you're doing that 3 times a week, Then you can start to slowly increase the amount of time you're doing that, go to 30 minutes 3 times a week, or increase the intensity. And then the important thing about preventing injury with that routine is to not increase multiple parameters at once, or double one or triple one at a time. And so keeping in mind, those are the 3 components of what we call workload, and keeping that workload gradual as opposed to jumping up.
All right, great advice. Dr. Richardville, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.